It's happening again. They're warning that in the next few days, we're going to witness more severe weather events and flash flooding in multiple states. Now, things are already pretty strange in Florida, where people are witnessing more and more strange weather phenomena in different parts of the state. New Mexico is also a state that seemingly cannot catch a break. Yet another town is hit by insane flooding, leading to evacuations of entire neighborhoods.
The pond has overfilled. Oh Jesus, I gotta go inside. And the neighbors are already flooded.
Good morning everyone, Mark Baugh here. Today I'm out in Vado, New Mexico, where this neighborhood I'm currently standing in looks like a big lake.
And while millions of people are battling this scorching heat, they are saying people in Michigan, Illinois, and Louisiana are going to get hit by intense rain and flooding. Look, folks, while our lawmakers take a break from their already not so busy schedule, millions of people are at risk of losing their homes and their loved ones. Once again, the question here is simple. Why are all these insanely rare weather events happening back to back to back? I mean, we're way past the point where you can just call it a coincidence. Something is definitely happening in our skies, and unfortunately, it looks like no one in the government is willing to address it. And you know what's going to happen when another once-in-a-century hurricane hits our shores? These good-for-nothing politicians are going to blame God and hand us $750 apiece to rebuild our entire lives. We already know that DARPA is behind a lot of this.
The stratospheric aerosol injections that are continuously peppered on us every day. How do we stop it?
That is not happening in my agency. You know, we don't do that. It's done, we think, by DARPA, and a lot of it now is coming out of the jet fuel.
Yes,
so,
sir.
you know, those materials are put in jet fuel. I'm going to do everything in my power to stop it.
So why are we not shutting it down ASAP? But this is the problem. Our governments at both the federal and state levels are doing the exact same things they promised they would never do again. I mean, we were told that pesticides in our food and our water supply are silently killing us.
I think very serious discussions about certain things, whether it's pesticides. Europe doesn't use pesticides, and yet they have a better mortality rate than we do. They don't use pesticides. In fact, they use it as an excuse not to take our farm product. We spend billions and billions of dollars on pesticides, and something bad's happening.
Like, for example, my wife loves kale, and she had the impression that kale is actually good for you. If it's organic, it's very good for you, but most kale and strawberries, for example, grapes, are contaminated with pesticides, and particularly the Environmental Working Group has found what they call the dirty dozen, some of the worst pesticides on these products.
Well, they just advanced a federal bill that straight up gives immunity to pesticide makers and stops the government from labeling these chemicals as dangerous to humans. I already told you about this madness in my previous video, but if you haven't seen it, let me tell you how this bill protects these evil companies and their harmful products from any repercussions. If an EPA assessment has declared a pesticide safe, you cannot take any action against that chemical even if new research shows that it's dangerous. You can only take action after the next assessment, and here's where things get absolutely insane. The last assessment of glyphosate was done in 2020, and it was declared safe. The next assessment won't happen until 2035, and even then, Bayer can just pause the assessment with a court order. Now, Bayer has been trying to get this kind of immunity at a state level for years now.
I just came out of this subcommittee hearing on HSB 737, which would give pesticide companies immunity for citizens trying to file lawsuits against them for damages.
This bill was already shut down in the House Ag Committee, and now it's being brought back in Ways and Means. This bill just passed the subcommittee, and it will take away farmers' rights to pursue legal action after damages are caused to their families and themselves. The basic argument presented by Bayer and other chemical companies is that the lawsuits that are being brought up by them about the damages caused by their products is going to put them out of business. And it's true. Bayer spent $3 billion on average a year over the last 6 years fighting lawsuits and only brought in $300 million in profit. But only 1% of Bayer's civil suits come from Iowa's farmers. I don't know about you, but I would rather see Bayer suffer as a company than Iowa's farmers suffer. Industry should not have more say than the people.
But now they're going to get federal legislation that will save their behinds for a long time. Of course, it's not the end, but we are in a very bad situation. The only way to stop this bill is to make sure the Senate rejects it as soon as it gets to the Senate floor. This is a clear betrayal of our trust, and this is not a partisan issue at all. These chemicals don't discriminate between liberals and conservatives. They will make you sick no matter who you are, so this issue should not be up for discussion. In Connecticut, they are ready to spray Diquat into every river and pond, even though its side effects are well published.
Diquat is a chemical that is banned in Europe, but there are plans in the works to use it here in Connecticut, in the Connecticut River, to be exact.
Our rivers, lakes, and ponds are not being crop dusted with chemicals just to see what happens. This is not a spray and pray situation.
And if you're still not certain that the EPA is helping Bayer, just look at this headline. Now, if you don't know, dicamba is an herbicide which is made to kill plants. However, Monsanto, which is now owned by Bayer, produces a type of soybean that can resist dicamba. This soybean type made up about 60 to 75% of all soybeans grown in the US, which made Monsanto a boatload of money. But then dicamba was banned because it hurts other plants, bee farms, and is also connected to causing various types of cancers in humans. Pretty good reasons to ban something. However, thanks to the EPA, it's going to be back in our air, water, and our food. God bless America. Now, moving on from this insane story, let's talk about Hillary Clinton, because apparently she's been high as a kite for a while now.
There were high-level DNC emails that detailed evidence of Hillary's, quote, psycho-emotional problems, uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness, and that then Secretary Clinton was allegedly on a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers. Then CIA Director Brennan and the intelligence community mischaracterized intelligence and relied on dubious substandard sources to create a contrived false narrative that Putin developed a quote-unquote clear preference for Trump.
Look, I used to think she was just crazy, but the drugs certainly explain her weird gestures and reactions.
Vice presidential. Did you talk about vice presidential possibilities with Senator Warren?
You guys have got to try the cold chai.
I've had it.
It is delicious, isn't it?
Okay.
They also might explain this particular clip. So it turns out she probably wasn't dehydrated, she was zonked out of her mind. And that won't be surprising at all, since we all know they were probably keeping Biden awake with similar kinds of concoctions. Now, Tulsi Gabbard also made this announcement.
Any of this new information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior?
We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI. To investigate the criminal implications of this.
For even former President Obama?
Correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment.
Folks, I don't think they'll ever be able to put Obama behind bars for this Russia hoax, but they might succeed if they start looking at the people close to him.
I just want to say how much I appreciate Puff Daddy for doing the kinds of work that he's doing, because he doesn't have to do this. But this is part of what is important about giving back.
Since we applaud you, and I want to apologize for not sweating, but I do this so much. I'm so cool.
It's insane how all the people he praised or endorsed turned out to be evil masterminds. And speaking of masterminds, let me show you what the people running this AI train think about our future. I'm sure you know the president endorsed Sam Altman and his Stargate project.
I don't have too much to add, but I did want to say I'm thrilled we get to do this in the United States of America. I think this will be the most important project of this era, and as Masa said, for AGI to get built here, to create hundreds of thousands of jobs, to create a new industry centered here. We wouldn't be able to do this without you, Mr. President, and I'm thrilled that we get to.
Just yesterday, he once again promised to make America a leader in the AI space.
Administration will use every tool at our disposal to ensure that the United States can build and maintain the largest, most powerful, and most advanced AI infrastructure anywhere on the planet. America needs new data centers, new semiconductor and chip manufacturing facilities, new power plants and transmission lines. And under my leadership, we're going to get that job done, and it's going to be done with certainty and with environmental protection and all of the things that we have to do to get it done properly.
But according to Sam Altman, the president could lose his job to AI as well.
In the short term, you can see it where people maybe, we call this emotional over-reliance. People rely on ChatGPT too much. There's young people who just say like, I can't make any decision in my life without telling ChatGPT everything that's going on. It knows me, it knows my friends, I'm gonna do whatever it says. That feels really bad to me. And is a really common thing with young people. And we're studying that, we're trying to understand what to do about it. Even if ChatGPT gives great advice, even if ChatGPT gives way better advice than any human therapist, something about kind of collectively deciding we're going to live our lives the way that the AI tells us feels bad and dangerous than a bunch of things like that. The longer term category is, back to that chess example, what if AI gets so smart that the president of the United States cannot do better than following ChatGPT 7's recommendation?
Look, it's true that we might not be able to keep up with these AI models for very long, but long before they replace the president, they're going to replace us. I already told you that 50% of the white-collar jobs are going to disappear according to multiple reports. Experts say artificial intelligence could wipe out half of all entry-level white-collar jobs in the U.S. over the next 1 to 5 years and push unemployment as high as 20%. That's a massive jump from today's 4.2% unemployment rate. Jobs in tech, finance, law, writing, accounting, and software are all at risk. At the same time, AI is expected to bring huge benefits, faster economic growth, major medical breakthroughs, even curing diseases like cancer. But the downside? Millions of people could be left without work. Even delivery drivers are on the chopping block. Well, this is some terrifying news. They're not even hiding it anymore. Amazon is officially testing humanoid robots to deliver your packages. Not drones, not vans, full-blown robots built to walk, see, think, and move like humans, replacing real workers on your streets. They're calling it Humanoid Park, a creepy obstacle course lab in San Francisco where these bots are being trained to navigate sidewalks and stairs like it's some kind of dystopian Olympics. But here's the kicker. These bots are getting deployed with over 20,000 Rivian electric vans using Amazon's own AI built on models like DeepSeek and Qwen. Translation, they're automating every inch of the delivery chain. No drivers, no warehouse pickers, just machines from start to finish. And as if that wasn't enough, the people working in plants and warehouses are also getting replaced by these AI robots. So yes, I want the US to become a leader in this technological revolution, but something tells me we're also going to be the ones paying the highest price for this change. I just found something wild about stem cells. If you don't know, stem cells are like tiny repair crews in your body and go fix things that need to be fixed. And guess who's been ahead of the curve on this? Joe Rogan. He's been talking about this for years. Just watch.
I had a full-length rotator cuff tear, and the UFC gave me a doctor in Los Angeles, and he looks at my MRI and goes, "You're going to need surgery." I go, 100%? He goes, "I don't know how you're using it now. It's a matter of time. You're going to need surgery, so it might be better to do it now." So I got it shot up with stem cells. And this was the early days of stem cells in America where you could get away with more. That you got to go to Mexico now again.
But here's the crazy part. Most stem cell therapies are illegal in the US. Not because they're unsafe, not because they don't work, but because they work too well, and that threatens big pharma. If you could heal your knees, fix your back, or recover from surgery without pills, insurance, or endless doctor visits, what happens to their profits? The FDA has blocked these treatments. As a result, people are forced to go overseas just to get access to their own biology. And it's expensive, unregulated, and out of reach for most of us. Just one placenta stem cell injection can run you back $50K. Honestly, I don't have that kind of cash on me right now. But here's what most people don't know. There's a natural way to support your own stem cell activity, and it comes from high flavanol cocoa. Studies have been done to show that the flavanols in cocoa stimulate stem cells to come out of your bone marrow, like bees coming out of a beehive in your bloodstream. Harvard scientist Dr. William Lee actually backs this up. Check it out.
So, studies have been done to show that the flavanols in cocoa stimulate stem cells to come out of your bone marrow like bees in a beehive in your bloodstream, and they go out and they find wherever it needs to be repaired. If it's in your heart, they'll fix it. If it's in your liver, they'll fix it. If it's in your skin, they'll fix it.
That's right, dark chocolate. But here's the thing. Flavanols are the good stuff found in cocoa beans, but they're usually destroyed during the chocolate making process. That's where Black Forest supplements come in. They've created the first ever high flavanol cocoa powder packed with everything your body actually needs. And it's only 20 calories. I mix it with my coffee or my protein shakes, and it tastes amazing. This isn't regular cocoa, it's stem cell fuel. No sugar, 20 calories, mix it in coffee or shakes. If you feel old, slow, or just off, lazy stem cells might be why. But this? It flips the switch. Over 100% increase in stem cell circulation. Right now, Black Forest Supplements is giving you 40% off, but only for 48 hours. There's a link in the description or the pinned comment below, so don't miss it. And we're gonna wrap up today's video right there. If you have any weather-related clips, please share them with my X account. I wanna know what you think about today's stories, so feel free to share your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.